My next patron question is from Graham, who wants to know about the rising popularity of a children's animated show. The Australian preschool cartoon Bluey has been growing in popularity online the past few months, not just with children, but with older demographics far outside of its intended reach. It's reminding me a lot of how My Little Pony Friendship is Magic became popular with teens and adults over a decade ago. Do you think Bluey is the new Friendship is Magic for the 2020s? This is one of those children's shows that's gotten a lot of acclaim for being very likable and charming and for featuring endearing characters and nice life lessons. Watching some episodes of Bluey, I can absolutely see why it has attained a significant following among children, parents, and other viewers. I think part of it can be attributed to how pleasant the entire show is. It's not a plot-driven show, but rather one driven by simple character interactions and how the titular dog Bluey and her family choose to spend their day. There's a lot of emphasis on the child dogs using their imagination to come up with fun scenarios, and it's great that we often see the parents also participate and enrich them in their activities. I think that's why children are able to relate to these characters, while older viewers remember their own childhood days of playing make-believe. Both Bluey and her sister Bingo are given fully formed personalities, and there's fun to be had in how they bounce off each other, but there's also a genuine sibling relationship. There are episodes, for example, where Bluey becomes bossy towards Bingo and has to learn to not be so controlling towards her younger sister. The parents are delightful too. While we do see them having fun with their children, they don't lose that parental element of steering them in the right direction. The ideas the writers came up with for these characters just add to the charm of the production. There's an episode where the dogs are at the park and play a game of not stepping outside of the shadows, and we watch as they think of solutions as the shadows change position. There's another one I watch where they're having a barbecue, and Bingo decides to imitate the adults who are cooking the food and preparing the salad by making pretend food and salads. There's just an element of fun that runs through the entire show. And when conflicts arise on the show, they feel natural and never in a way that's frightening to young viewers. They're all within the confines of the environment and the behaviors of the characters. I actually don't think shows for very young children get nearly enough credit for how they write for the target demographic. It can be a tricky balance of doing something that stimulates them intellectually without talking down to them. These shows don't have to appeal to adults because that's not the intended audience, but they should be something that they trust won't send potentially bad messages to them or lead to annoying behavior later on. Bluey accomplishes that very nicely. The designs and animation also have an appealing look to them, particularly the use of soft colors. You can tell the makers of the show do not want to make something super intense for the target audience, and that's also why Bluey avoids becoming hyperactive. I like my fair share of energetic cartoons, but it's also just nice to watch something that does not have fast-cut editing or is going crazy with the visuals. That's likely another reason parents don't mind watching Bluey with their children. Then there's the humor, which finds genuine laughs out of the situations and the dialogue and somehow mostly avoids going for cheap, easy gags. The jokes are so well timed and animated. The show's distribution probably plays a role in its popularity as well. In Australia, Bluey runs on the Australian Broadcasting Corporation's children's block, with the BBC holding certain global rights. I don't know too much about ABC's children's output aside from Bananas in Pyjamas, but the BBC certainly has a reputation for quality programming aimed at the younger set. Meanwhile, Disney has picked up the rights in certain territories for airing on Disney Junior and streaming on Disney Plus, and they've helped in making the show a hit with North American viewers. Something I particularly appreciate about Disney's handling of Bluey is they did not feel the need to Americanize it by dubbing over the voices of American or Canadian actors. I remember when the British animated series Noddy was brought over, it was broadcast as The Noddy Shop, and they had local actors dub over the original episodes, and I never liked that. They have kept the distinctly Australian accents in Bluey intact, which is good, as that's another charming aspect of the series. The father's even shown being a fan of rugby and cricket. They could have easily had them change the dialogue to refer to sports North Americans actually watch, but they didn't. So after watching some episodes, I can absolutely understand why Bluey has resonated with many and found a dedicated viewership. It's pleasant and sweet and cute, with plenty of appeal for children, while also having enough whimsy and charming humor for the adults who might be watching. Thank you for your question, Graham.